Good evening, everyone. Today we'll be discussing some very important discussion. I think a lot of people here don't even know about the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, and we've invited a previous beneficiary of the scholarship to discuss with us today how he was able to get the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. So yeah, very soon I'll tell him to introduce himself and get to know him. And after that, you get the chance to ask all your questions that you want to know. Let's say how to apply for the scholarship requirements, all of that we'll discuss into this question and answer. So make sure you write down your questions, or you could send them to the group, or you could just put them down as well, and we'll answer all your questions. So without any further ado, let's get started. So boss, can you just tell us how you first heard about the Erasmus Mundus scholarship?
Okay, good evening, everyone, or afternoon or morning, wherever you are. Yes, my name is Precious, and I did my bachelor's in mechatronics engineering. Before graduating, I was looking for opportunities after my graduation, because I didn't want to go back to my country without a plan. So I searched and I was able to find the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. Before that, actually, I knew someone that already got the scholarship, and with that information, I just went through the website and found something that was related to my interest, and then I applied for the scholarship. And now I'm currently doing my thesis, about to complete my master's.
Okay. Thank you so much for that quick, straight to the point intro. So, for those that do not know about the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, can you tell them what it is? What are the benefits of the scholarship?
Okay. The benefit of the scholarship, well, you get to come to Europe and study in at least 2 universities. Do your master's in at least 2 universities, and there are other perks such as having your tuition covered with funding for living expenses. And yeah, you can travel around Europe since it's in Schengen area, which is a nice benefit. Yeah, so that's
Okay. You said it covers tuition in 2 universities,
Yes.
covers stipends for living expense.
Yes.
And what about, does it cover flight tickets as well?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And what about accommodation?
The accommodation is they will give you stipends, like living stipends, which you can use for accommodation and also for feeding. So yeah, you can use the stipends they give you for accommodation and yeah, for anything you want, I guess.
Okay, cool. So, talking about the stipends, how much is it? Like, is it the same for everyone, or it differs based on your program of study, or based on your degree? Is it first degree has a particular stipend, master's has another stipend? How does it work, or how much is the stipend?
Um, well, before the life, I did some research and I found out that okay, it differs based on the program.
Hmm.
So if, for example, There's programs that are 1,000 euros or maybe 1,400 euros.
Month?
Hello?
Wait, you're saying stipends is as 1,400 euros per month?
Yeah, I think I saw a program that gives you 1,400
Oh,
euros per month.
that's a lot.
I was not kidding. I saw it. Let me go and check again. But yeah, I see that.
That's a lot of money actually. That's a lot.
Yes. So it differs from program to program. Yeah, so it depends on which one that you get selected for.
It's all right. So, if you're just joining us into this live, we're talking about how he gets the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. The Erasmus Mundus scholarship is a fully funded scholarship offered, I think it's sponsored by the European Union. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, it really allows you to study in two countries in Europe. It covers tuition, accommodation, feeding, and flight tickets as well. So if you have any question, do not hesitate to drop them in the chat or drop them in the group and we'll reply to them immediately. So talking about this, it covers tuition in two universities. So basically you guys get to study in two different universities. Can you tell us more about that? How does that work?
So I would say that at least two universities, because I think you can also go to another university. So you can go to three universities if your program is like that. So it's like an exchange. I don't know if you've heard of exchange, where you spend some time in another university in even another country. So it's similar to that. Uh, yes. So that's how it works. It's like an exchange. You go and study elsewhere. And sometimes they can even give you dual certificate. So that's another, will I say, perk or benefit of that.
Wow. So basically it's gonna have one degree but two universities. Is that how it is?
Yes. Okay. So depending on the program, you can have one certificate or let's say one degree,
Mm,
but you spent your time in two universities,
mm.
or you can have dual degree going to give you two certificates. So it depends on the program that you are in.
Okay, cool. So yeah, like for someone that's listening to this for the first time and they're interested in getting this scholarship, what is the first step they need to take? How can they apply to get this scholarship?
Okay. The first step is to go on Google and type Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters.
Mm,
And when you type that, you'll see the website of the catalog, uh,
mm,
where you see all the courses that they are funding. So the next step is to search for the course that you want. Using the keywords, you can go through it and look for the one you are interested in. Once
mm,
you find out the program that you are interested in or the course that you want, you then go to their website and look at the application tab or requirements. And if you satisfy the requirement, you can now apply. So I think they have a window of application. I think it's from, I'm not sure if, I think they also depends on the program, but around this December to maybe ending of January or something like that. But it's open around that time. So you look at when the scholarship or the application process will start. And once you know that you can now prepare yourself, prepare all the require the documents for that program, and you put in your application and wait and see what the result will be.
okay. And this scholarship, is it just for master's degrees? Someone is asking, is
Um,
the school only for
yes,
masters?
the name of the scholarship is Erasmus Mundus. Well, it's an Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters scholarship. So it's for master's degree. Yeah, yeah. That's
Okay, cool. So yeah, when they get to search online, just apply from there, and that's it. So
yeah.
there are lots of people that apply for this scholarship, right? But then just
Yeah.
a few people got selected. So like for you, like as a beneficiary, what would you say would make someone to stand out from the crowd and to make them get selected? Because not just to apply, the goal
Mm-hmm.
is to get. But do you have any tips that you use for your application that you believe made them to select you for this Erasmus scholarship?
Oh, yes. Okay, so the advice will vary from program to program, but the general tip I usually give, or I always do, is to look for beneficiaries of that scholarship, past beneficiaries. You can go on LinkedIn and just type in the program, and you will see the people that have gotten the scholarship before,
Mm.
and you can connect with them. And when you connect with them, you can ask them questions about how to go about the process, and also how to structure your CV or motivation letter and those kind of questions. That is my tip, is just to find people that have gotten it before, and you can now ask those questions to them. Another thing is to peruse the website. Look, normally you can tell who are the candidates they are looking for from the website. Maybe they'll say they're looking for people that have high GPA or leadership skills, those kind of things. So when you just look at the website, you can look at their requirements and structure your CV, your motivation letter, and maybe your what's it called? Your letter of motivation, or your letter of recommendation should also um, align to what they expect for that role or for that scholarship.
Okay. Okay. So basically, you're saying, what people do is
Yeah.
they just get like a general recommendation letter from their favorite lecturer, and they use it for all applications. So are you saying that such a recommendation letter would not work for this particular scholarship?
Ooh, let's see. The way the recommendation letter works is you put in the email of the professor, and
Mm-hmm.
the professor is the one that will upload it. That's how I think it works. For the ones I've applied to, that's how it works. And yeah, you can have a favorite professor or lecturer, and that is the person you want to use. But you just have to make sure that the person speaks of you highly in the letter. So that means that maybe a way to help them to um, present you well is to tell them what you are applying for and the things that you want them to highlight in their in their recommendation letter. That is possible. I think if you tell them, okay, I'm applying for so and so and so, and then you tell them, okay, they're looking for this skill, this person, and maybe they can talk about such qualities. That's if you have those qualities, I guess. You will talk about it in their motivation letter, in their recommendation letter. Sorry.
So, all right, so let's talk about the CV. How would you suggest that people prepare the CV to get the scholarship? What format is required for this particular scholarship?
I think there's a Europass format. Some of the programs, I think, they are not strict to that specific format. I think you just have to check. If you see that they require you to use a Europass format, you have to use that format so as not to get disqualified. Uh, Basic, and then what are the contents of the CVs? The basic things like your experience, education, the project you've worked on, a certificate, and those kind of things. But you just go through the website of the program you're applying for, and then you can get to know if So some of these programs, they will tell you the things that you need to highlight in your CV or what they are looking for in your CV, and then you put that in your CV. If they don't, you just put in the normal things that should be in the CV. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I think initially I heard you talking about the scholarship opens in December, right?
I'm not. I'm not sure about that. I have to confirm that. But
It's alright, and I think the deadline differs from program to program, so it depends on what
yeah,
program
yeah,
that is applying for, right?
yeah. That's I believe. Yes. Yes.
It's alright. So if you just joining our live today, we're talking about how I was able to get the Erasmus Mundus scholarship to study in Europe for free, and that with this scholarship you're able to study in two different universities without paying tuition, without paying accommodation, paying for food. So basically, you are being paid to study, which is just mind blowing if you ask me. We've talked about a lot already. We've talked about the scholarship. We've talked about the benefit. We've talked about the requirement. We've talked about the timeline as well and the deadline. We've also talked about the stipends and we're talking about the visa process now. So after getting the scholarship, what is the next step? Like, okay, let's timeline, right? So when did you apply? When did you get selected? And when did you apply for the visa?
Hmm. I wouldn't remember the specific date, so I think I would
Okay,
just give you general.
just give whatever you can remember. It's okay.
Okay.
But
I believe I applied in January and
mm,
got the scholarship. That's the email that I've gotten the scholarship. I think in April.
wow, April, wow.
Yes, then April or March. I'm not specifically sure. Then the next step was to get the visa and try and get accommodation. Um, but for my case, I started my visa process late due to some circumstances. I think I started in September, and the program was starting like the semester was starting in September. So in my case is different. Is totally I say weird, but due to some circumstances, it was like that. So I started my visa process in September, and I got my visa in October, and then I came to the university.
So let's talk about the visa application procedure. What
Yeah.
documents were required? I mean, does scholarship help you with the visa application, or you do it just by yourself?
Yeah, okay. Since I mentioned that I started my visa application late, so one of the things that helped me was actually the fact that I was on a scholarship. And that's really like the people on the, well, I say the coordinators of the scholarship, not of Erasmus, but the one in my university. She helped a lot in the visa process because she was the one sending an email to the embassy that so and so person is in need of a visa. Can you please fast track the process? So yes, in certain scenarios, I think they help a lot in you getting a visa. If you're an Erasmus Mundus scholar, you will shush. In my case was like that. I did not have a problem with it. It was really fast getting the visa. And the documents that you require, I think it varies from one country to another if wherever you are going to go to. Um, so I don't know if I need to talk about that, but yeah, it varies from one country to another.
It's alright, no problem. So, when you ask for your proof of funds, like for any funds, or
Yeah,
you just
because you're applying for a study visa, yeah, they asked for proof of funds. But because I'm on a scholarship, I just needed to show them there was a document that I was given by the scholarship body or the people that I can just use for the application. That's for the visa application. And that's what I used
mm,
to show that, oh yes, I have the sufficient amount of money to cover my living expenses, my tuition, and everything. And yeah, it wasn't difficult.
Cool. So let's talk about legalization, because usually a lot of European countries require you to legalize documents before the visa. So with the ship, were you asked to legalize any
Yes,
document visa application?
yes, I had to legalize my documents, my certificate. That's the bachelor's undergraduate certificate. I had to legalize that. Um, what else? I I have to check
Your work
the requirement again, but
really,
yeah, I had to legalize some documents. I for me to okay, yeah, my birth certificate also had to be legalized.
and what about your WAEC results? Was it required for legalization?
No, no, no. Since I was going for a master's, I would do previous degrees and undergraduate degrees, so they just asked for my undergraduate certificate.
Okay, and what type of legalization did you do? Is it as education for or just in the country where you studied, or you did it as well also at the embassy, like super legalization? Which of the legalization did you do for education?
Um, I had to do the legalization in the place where you studied. Yeah, that's I had to do that. That's for the diploma. I had to legalize my certificate in the place where I studied. So if you're studying in Nigeria, yeah, you have to do that in Nigeria. And then I don't think I had to legalize it again in the embassy. I no. Well, maybe you have to, yeah, yeah. Because in my case, I had a document that made it possible for my certificate to be accepted even in Europe without going through the
The Hague
without
Convention.
yeah
You
without
studied it within the
yeah
Hague Convention.
yeah they had this apostille Hague, yeah, the
Oh,
Hague convention. Yeah, so
sure.
it helped. I do not need to legalize it again in the embassy embassy I was trying to get a visa from.
It's all right. So let's talk about your experience in the country. What's your experience so far? It's obvious you've actually studied outside Nigeria before, but compared with the education in Nigeria, like what would you say? Were there any culture shock? Like how was the teaching there, and how are the people there?
Compared to Nigeria, you
Yeah,
mean?
compared to Nigeria.
Uh, well, okay, I have to draw parallels from people that have studied in Nigeria because I didn't study in Nigeria for my undergraduate. Mm, but if you I think one of the major things is that the lecturers are helpful. They have office hours. I guess you can go and ask questions if you're not clear about something. So it was not a culture shock for me. It was not a shock because
Familiar with that?
yeah, because I didn't study in Nigeria. But yeah, but if you study in Nigeria, maybe that can be a shock for you. And for the
Okay.
people, yeah, the people, guess in Europe, people are just if you don't have a problem or you don't cause problem, everybody is facing their business. So yeah, it's not.
Mm,
I've not had any blatant racism in front of me. So everything is yeah. I didn't have. I've not had any problems. I guess living here. Um,
okay.
yeah, it's been smooth throughout the process. Yeah.
Okay. For like the living expenses, you've been paid a particular stipend per month. Is it able to cover your accommodation, your feeding, transportation, and also your entertainment? And do you have something to send back home or something to save at the end of every month?
Yeah. It's if you. The thing is, you have to live. Um, while taking in consideration how much you are getting. So in terms of accommodation, if you can get a accommodation that is below your means, like something that you can sustain. So, but with my stipends, yes, I'm able to sustain myself and pay from the rent, get feeding. Uh, what else do I need? Yeah, you can also travel out if you want and save some money. But
And
the
did you
thing is,
travel, like, apart from the two universities, have you traveled to like other countries in Europe or Schengen area?
yeah, I had the opportunity to travel to. I've traveled to some other places. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. And how is the language barrier for you? Like, is it like a big issue? Is it possible to survive in these European countries without understanding their language? And how have you been able to survive? Do you learn the language, or are you learning the language? Like, have you tried it, or do you have
Okay.
plans to?
Yeah, about that, it's okay. To put that in context, I studied in Spain, so they
Mm,
speak Spanish, and the other place where I am, they speak Catalan. So yeah,
mm,
it's a bit difficult if you want to speak to other people around and you don't know
mm,
Spanish or Catalan. It's a bit difficult. But now that we have technologies, you can use your Google Translate, and that can ease the barrier a little bit. And you can, if you want to go shopping and the person doesn't understand you, you can just pull up your phone, pull out your phone and tell the person, show the person whatever you are saying on their phone. Yes. So with time you adapt because I have I had the experience already in my undergraduate, so I already know how to adapt to this kind of um, condition where people around you are not speaking the language that you are fluent in. So it's a skill. It's a skill to be able to adapt in this kind of situation. But I've not had a problem um, moving around or mm, going about my business. Yeah. Another thing is there are people that yeah they were able to learn the language. You have to be
like the young
committed.
people
What?
or the elder,
Can you come again?
like who are the people that from your experience speak the language like fluently? Is it the young people or the elderly people?
Is it in the masters or the residents of the country?
I'm just speaking like generally, like in the countryside, in the country, what age group or what age bracket would you say speaks English a lot?
Um, oh. Well, in Spain, you can find. Gosh, I don't know, it's a bit. I can't generalize it because I've not had much experience like that, but it's
Okay.
maybe working. Yeah, it's a. I can't really generalize it, but I also had opportunity to go to Croatia, and in that place, a lot of people there. I was able to meet them, and they were able to speak English. So yes, it depends on the country that you are going to. Uh, if
Okay.
you, yeah, so it
And
depends really on the country. Yeah.
what's the weather like in Spain? Is it something that's similar to Nigeria's weather, or it's a little bit too cold for you during the winters?
In the winter, definitely it's not similar to Nigeria's weather. Um, so yeah, it's a bit cold. It's a bit cold, yes, but there's nothing that
Okay,
yeah, so you get accustomed to it.
to it, you
At
adapt
least, yeah.
to it.
If you just put on your winter jacket, you'll be fine. I
All
haven't
right.
had.
And you have it in your room as well,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yes, exactly. You also have heater, so you would not have a problem if you kit yourself for the winter.
Okay, cool. So, guys, if you have any question, please drop them right now because we'll be ending shortly. For those that are just joining, we're talking about how he was able to get the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, which is a scholarship that allows you to go to Europe to study for free. It covers tuition, accommodation, feeding, and flight ticket, as well as they also pay for your living expenses every month as well. So if you have any question, please send them in right now so we can attend to them before we call it a day. So, boss, do you have like any final words for people that are looking to study abroad in 2025 or to get scholarship?
Mm, what I would say is mm, a lot of times, the experience I've had is that sometimes people are a bit scared or worried that they cannot get the scholarship, maybe due to the fact that it's an international opportunity and you definitely, a lot of people are going to apply for that thing, and they under, let's say, they are not confident in themselves in to get that scholarship, so it limits them. They don't want to apply. They feel like it's a waste of time. But I would say it's not a waste of time. You just need to try, um, put in your best in the motivation letter in the CV. You never know if you don't give it a shot. So that's
Yeah,
my advice, just to give it a shot. And there are people, and another thing is that this scholarship, like the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, notice that okay, I would say it's a bit biased to people that are not in the European Union. So you have more chance to get it as an African than people that are in the European Union, I would say. So I think you should give it a shot. It's not like something that is difficult to get because there are people from different nationalities, from Pakistan, from India, from Sudan, from Egypt. You see a lot of people who Ethiopia, like a lot of people around, like yourself, who are also getting the scholarship. So that's my advice. Just try, give it a shot, and put in your best. In you will be surprised to see what
thank you,
happens.
big man, for your time. So yeah, as you guys have heard, give it your best shot, put in the work, do your research, put in your application. Hopefully, gonna get the scholarship. I don't know if it's still open right now, but you guys to check online yourself to see if it's open. If it's open, you can apply. And if you have any question, reach out to me, and we'll see how we can help you with that. So thank you so much for joining today's question and answer session. I'll say goodbye and God bless you. Hopefully, by this time next year, you're also in your dream country as well. Thanks for your time.
No worries.